Yeah, Mother Nature's not playing fair lately. So it would be the last time we fired up, well, we moved the combines a couple days ago, but the last time we harvested anything would be about 10 days ago. Today's Saturday, September 20th. It is the 20th. I was thinking 19th for a second there. And yeah, it would have been the 10th. It was the afternoon, or we finished the evening of the Charlie Kirk assassination. That's the last time we did any harvest. That night we got about half an inch of rain up here, not so much down there, but definitely too wet to go anywhere. And then by about 11 or 1 midday, we got another half an inch of rain everywhere, so we shut down. Then Saturday morning we got dumped on. We got 4.5 inches of rain on Saturday alone, and then Sunday we got another half inch, and Monday we got another half inch. So a grand total of over 6 inches of rain. Several mornings like this that were just disgustingly foggy. The bins are actually dripping. They're not sweating. This one doesn't have any grain in, and it's just dripping away. Is not good mid-harvest. Had we had another day, I'd be in a lot better mood. But we had my last 300 acres of durum we didn't get to. So it's probably screwed by now. It's been wet and warm, which is not a good combination. So it's probably sprouted, probably feed, probably losing 15 to 20 bushel an acre, and it got flattened too. Dad's still got 300 acres worth of wheat. It stayed up a lot better, and wheat can take a lot more weathering before it gets to feed. And on top of the durum being sprouted or chitted and heavily degraded. Now luckily, I shouldn't say luckily, I've had that happen in the past. My first year, I got just kicked in the teeth. I contracted pretty much all of my durum a week beforehand. The price was kind of on the downslope, and you know, I didn't have any cash. Like I said, first year I needed to get some income, and so we looked at it. It's like, yeah, this will be 50-60 bushel for sure. So we contracted 50 bushel, and then it started raining, and it rained 3 days a week for the next month. And most of mine went to feed. So, and on top of that, the price went up. Now, the reason that it's important that the price went up is, had the price gone down, I could have just walked away from that contract. But because the price went up, I actually had to pay the difference on that contract. All right, so this is not what happened, but this is just me using numbers for easy math. So let's say that I contracted 10,000 bushels, and at $10, that's a $100,000 contract. If the price goes down and I can't fulfill that contract, no problem. They've got a position to protect themselves, and they can actually offer that contract to somebody else. Now, if the value goes up, nobody's going to want to pick up that contract. So let's say I had that 10,000 bushels sold at $10. I cannot fulfill that contract because my quality's poor, and the price goes up to $12 a bushel, which again didn't happen. That's a $120,000 contract. I got to pay that $20,000 difference. So because of that experience, I'm very leery to contract a lot of durum, forward contract a lot of durum. I like to contract durum once it's in the bin. But this year I contracted about what I thought was going to be close to 30% of our yield. It still may be the case. Might be 30% of our good stuff now. And we have a lot that's in the bags. So it's not going to be a disaster like I had in 2019. I have to bang on some tires and check some lights here. Obviously good. Okay. So we ended up, after all this rain, we got the combine switched over to the canola because we know it's going to be a few more days before we can get into the cereals. On Thursday we went out, we moved to the next field, did a swipe, and it was 12.6 moisture, 10 is dry for canola. And then yesterday was kind of not foggy, but it was humid, and Dad went out 2 o'clock, same thing, almost identical, like 12.5. And we were hoping we'd get going today. I don't know, with this fog going on here, and like this isn't even the worst of it. It was really bad down around where the field is that we're trying to harvest, and it was exceptionally bad at Alameda. But yeah, it makes a guy think about, I like to think that we're probably on the lean side for equipment needs as far as combines. It's just that if we were to get another combine, then we'd probably need another semi and another trailer, definitely a bigger grain cart, another hired, or probably 2 more hired hands. It's just like, like that seems like a lot of investment. And it could be worth it. Like right now I think it'd be worth it because we would have been done, definitely would have been done our cereals. If we had 2 more days, we would have been done all of our cereals. But that's the way it goes. But it makes a guy think. I've always been told, southeast Saskatchewan, you don't need a grain dryer. I've been farming, this is my 7th crop. Yeah, 7th crop. And I think 3 of those years we could have used a grain dryer. Definitely 2 of them. So, in saying that, you're trying to compare a combine to a grain dryer. Grain dryer can go 24 hours a day, combine can't. A lot less moving parts on a grain dryer, a lot less maintenance. My understanding is it's pretty comparable to what you'd pay in fuel if you put your electricity and your gas together, depending on the size, obviously. And I actually did design my vineyard for a dryer. Now, I'm looking at potentially, obviously not right now because don't have time. We don't have natural gas at the farm. That's the biggest thing. I gotta get a quote on what it would take to trench in a line. Well, we're done Durum. We got back, it's been a few days. We came out, we did some canola, and we found that all of our early canola that was seeded before the big rain we had in May. You know what? I'm going to turn some stuff off and I'll talk then. So going back about 2 weeks ago now, I don't even know what day of the week it is, so I can't really say. But we got like 4.5 inches one morning. That gave us some foreseen problems and some unforeseen problems. Foreseen problems. Cereals were going to be degraded. For sure the durum, probably the wheat. We knew the wheat was going to be at least knocked down from a 1 to a 2. We're just getting into it. They just started about an hour into it. I've been organizing all this other stuff, so they're up bagging. We'll get there in a bit. I finished my durum. It doesn't look very good. Here's the sample. Probably looks, I don't know how it looks to you. Hopefully that shows. It's just very dull. I don't know. We'll see what it comes out as. Still feels like it's got good bushel weight. But that dullness is what they call low HVK. High HVK is where it's still got that nice shine and good color to it. Yeah. So we knew that was going to happen. So something we didn't know was going to happen, it was a surprise to Dad as well, is that we would get sprouts in our canola. Now, this isn't all across the entire farm, all 2,200 acres that we have, or 2,400 acres. It's only the canola that was done before we had the big rain in May. And then there's about a 9-day gap. So all of our canola, our early canola, which I had 150 acres, and Dad had about, over here's 180, there's another 100, 280-ish he had. It was in before, so it's a little more mature, not quite as good of a stand, I think. And we desiccated, thinking that we were going to need to, and then the weather turned. So it was definitely very ripe, and then it got rained on. And like I said, in 2019, we didn't have this problem where it got rained on, but it was cool. So we had a little bit of rain, but not a lot of heat to take it away. This time we had some pretty good rain and some warm days, and that's what you need, is moisture and heat to get things sprouting. So this is actually a sample of our later canola, and there's still some sprouts in it. This is our first of our late canola, is what we're calling it. There's still some sprouts in it. Kind of over by my thumb right there. I don't know. Camera's not playing with me very well. But we've never had that, so we sent a sample away. They're going to get back to us, let us know what the grade difference or price difference or whatnot is going to be. Now, we have seen that we sent a sample of the first, I don't know what it would be, a couple hundred acres, I guess. We sent samples away to see, is it above the threshold, and what's it gonna, so we know it's light for sure, because we had a bin at the airport, and it should hold about 11,000 bushel of wheat, usually about 10,800 of canola, and we only got about 9,700 bushels of canola in it. So it's very light, probably 10% light, which is 5 pounds per bushel. Number one, durum. Really good durum in there. Nothing. This guy has 7,000-ish bushels of sprouted canola, and then that one's got sprouted, or no, I shouldn't say sprouted, but lower grade durum. And then I don't know if you can see out back, there's a couple grain bags there, and there's a bunch of grain bags down south of number one. So depending on what the grade is, we might be doing some blending. Or if it's really bad, this might just get sent for feed. So this guy's, I think there's 17,000 in this. So it's just gonna get parked for, or sorry, this guy, gonna get parked for a while. I think tonight I'm just gonna throw the air fan on just to cool things down because it's supposed to be a nice cool night. Take advantage of that. This 7,500 bushels of canola, I cooled it down last night, and just so that we're not stuck with all the low grade stuff on the bottom in case we need to mix or we want to sell it separate. I'm going to take all that out. We're going to ship it over to the fertilizer bin, 2 fertilizer bins just around the corner tomorrow while they're bagging. We can run a pretty well-oiled machine with 3 guys when we're bagging. So 2 combine operators and then the grain cart / bagger operator because I got the remote system. What you see right there, obviously a little over full. Plus I started with more on the front than I normally do. That's just getting to what would be a legal load. I'm pretty sure, like I said, we're probably close to 5% light. 68 to 70 is what I need, and that's usually around 80 when I do it right. Pleased with the light in here. I think this might be the first time definitely the first time we did canola at night. I know in the winter we did wheat a few times. Wheat's a lot easier to see, obviously, but I was a little concerned that I was only putting 2 up, but she's more than bright enough.